Hello, Internet world. Daniel the Wizard here with the Dryftwood podcast, doing a Dryftwood Hangout, and I got my boy Mason Williams. What's up, Mason?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, if you guys don't remember, this is actually the last podcast that I recorded. Mason Williams, with the anti-victim mentality, he was on there talking about his t-shirts and had his apparel company, and yeah, we talked a little bit about being a husband and a father and all this stuff. But anyways, so tonight we're just hanging out.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, man. I'm excited. Our
yeah,
conversation was good last time. I'm glad to continue that for a little bit.
yeah. So you and I live in two different time zones, and so I had scheduled this for a time that I was pushing my limit too. Like I was like gonna be tight because I thought the hours were flipped. I thought that yeah, I thought it was the other way. Anyway, oh man, that was on me. So
There you go.
I got on an hour and a half, an hour earlier than for 2 hours. Was it 2 hours early? I don't
Yeah.
even know.
Yep, yep. Instead of 9:30 my time, 7:30 my time.
Yeah, I was twisted up. So that's
No
on me
worries.
because I'm the one that told him, yeah, this your time. And like I'm like trying to hop on to make sure I get it. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm running a little bit tight. And then I hop on, send him a text, like, I'm gonna hop on, you get on when you're ready. He's like, yeah, it'll be like 40 minutes. I'm like, oh fuck. I already knew. I already knew. I was like, damn, I got him twisted. As soon as you said that, I was like, I hope he don't think I'm rushing because I'm just chilling. I already planned on staying up late tonight to do this.
Right.
So
Yeah. No
yeah.
worries, brother. I love it,
So
man. Just
So what's
adds to
up?
the fun. Dude, just hanging out, man. Just got back from my boys' baseball practice. My oldest. He's playing comp this year, so the practices are like 2 to 2.5 hours long, and they're twice a week. I'm like, man, it's
So what position does he play?
he catcher sometimes, pitcher sometimes. His coach told me yesterday he doesn't want him pitching because his form, he's starting to throw sidearm. And he's like, until we correct that, I don't want him pitching. He's going to throw his arm out. So we're working on that with him right now. He's kind of a utility. I mean, all the players, they kind of bounce him around at least out here at this age. Like he'll play outfield, first base, shortstop. It just depends.
So what is he like 9? Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he this is his first year like it's kid pitch, right?
Second or third. This is
Is it
his first year because he pitched. Yeah, this is his second year. So first year
yeah.
was just rec league. This year he's playing comp. He made the
Yeah,
team.
that's
I'm really
cool.
proud of him. He's doing good. So
Yeah. So what position does he like playing the most?
pitcher. He's a
Pitcher.
he's a
Yeah.
pitcher. Yeah, he loves
Yeah.
pitching.
My son, he's 13. He wants to pitch so much more, but he's not really every time we've gone somewhere, we've moved a bunch. He's always been with established people, right? So
Right.
he's only gotten to do trash time really. So he
Right.
hasn't really gotten to test his skill regularly against competition. And so like he's really accurate. He's been taught to pitch to contact. I've taught him to locate. He doesn't have the speed yet. We're working on his legs or whatever, but you know, he wants to pitch more, but you know, whenever you're behind two or three pitchers that pitch really well, you know, that covers all the games right there. And
Right.
we're doing rec league, and it's really competitive. It's really cool how competitive the rec league stuff is here, man. I love it.
Well, dude, I've heard that, man. I've heard Texas for football and baseball is just extremely competitive. I mean,
Yeah,
Utah, I don't know. I mean, we live in a pretty small place, so we're not like out, like we're not in Salt Lake City, which is, big city Utah. We're about 30 miles away on the west side of the Salt Lake Valley over in Tooele County. I live in
okay.
Tooele and he plays in Grantsville. It's pretty competitive there too because it's a small town. Kids, they're all sports and farms
They
and
all
things
know
like
each
that.
other too, right?
Right. So yeah, you should have seen them playing baseball, man. They or basketball this year when the so he played tackle football last year, right? And they were playing. So the kids that were on his tackle football team were on opposite teams for basketball. and they just beat the shit out of each other, like they were playing football, and it was hilarious, man, because they just yeah, it was fun to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, that's super. I like watching my kids like compete with their friends and things like that because it's so much more competitive when they know each other. Like
Right.
when they know each other because like they're talking. They're on the bases, they're talking at each other. And I think that
Mhm.
that's really cool. So
Right.
with having your son in sports and doing all that stuff, what is the value that you find like in organized sports? Like because I know that some people do, some people don't, but what's the value that you find as a father in organized sports?
It helps you with discipline and teamwork, learning how to and depending on the coach, which he's had the same coach for like the coach that's coaching him in comp has been, I think he's probably coached him 5 different times in basketball, baseball, football, all of them, right?
Real active dad,
And
huh?
right, and he's really really good with instilling like competition, but also fun, right? Because
Yeah.
I agree it's important to have fun, right? You need to
I,
have fun, but
look,
at the
that's the
same
best way to trick yourself to enjoy something that's difficult. Have fun.
right, but at the same time too, like I'm not for the the fifth place trophies and shit like that.
Oh, fuck that. Nah,
Like
hell no.
we're like it's fun as hell to win, right? It's
Yeah.
fun. It's enjoyable when you're playing just to play, but when you lose, it should sting, right? It
Yeah,
should
because
sting,
it should not feel good to not be as good as you could have been.
right? And that is motive to improve, right? I
Yeah.
mean, if you, that's what I think is good for, but it's hard because a lot of like I said, I'm grateful for the coach he has because he's trying to teach these kids to win, to have fun, but to win also. And okay, let's review what we did wrong so we can get better and improve. And you don't see that as much as you used to. Like back when I played, like it was pretty much like everybody was like that. But with all the everything going on and all the politics around it. It's like they just want everybody to get a trophy and to feel like a winner. And I think that affects people negatively, to be honest. I think that affects children
Yeah. I
in a
think
bad way.
I
So
think that whenever this is my personal opinion, okay? So whenever you start giving trophies to underperformance, then underperformance becomes acceptable. And the
right,
thing is like you're not reaching your potential with underperformance, right?
right,
You're not reaching what your capability of. You're not pushing your boundaries. You're not growing. And
right,
so like maybe it doesn't affect everyone, but I think the grander chance of it affecting, I think it's a risk not worth taking because now in my eyes you're rewarding something that's less than par. It's subpar. It's not very good. And so, like, if you're given a fifth place trophy, and then you got these kids that busted their ass all season, and they've won, they beat the competition, and they got first place. Like that
right.
also minimizes the
They're
value of their win,
right,
right? And so, like, there's so many stories of all these famous athletes that the major losses at early levels are what motivated them to become who they were. Like the famous one of Michael Jordan getting kicked off as not making
right.
the middle school basketball team. Like
Yep.
I bet they feel dumb, but no, they don't because they're actually the reason why he. That's part of the motivation. So I had Houston Ball with Chasing the Graph on, and that's one of the things that he talked about. He had a girlfriend, and the girlfriend's stepfather or mom's boyfriend had said something and basically called him a low life piece of shit. And it's like, yeah, fuck, maybe I am, but I'm not fucking going to be. I'll show your ass, right?
Right.
And so like it becomes a fire to want to do better than what's there
Like
because
like I'm gonna prove you wrong. Right.
you
Yep.
see yourself better than what they see you, but that can impact you negatively too, though. You
Yeah. It's
know,
all.
I
It's
don't know.
funny how that works, man. I mean,
It could be
I,
traumatic. Like that could be the thing that causes you to curl up too. You know, because some people
right.
don't respond to shit like that in a positive way. And I think on the setting, like if you're scared, like you take that the worst way possible.
Right. I also think though, man, I think that I don't know. I feel like people in the past, 20 years ago, had a little tougher skin too. I feel like it motivated more people, right? Like
Mm,
now
maybe.
it's really hard. Like I even see it with my son, right? Like he's not good at taking criticism, right? Constructive criticism, of course. It's not like you're just sitting there blasting him, but it's like, here, let me help you, let me show you this, let me show you that. It's something that's learned and that you teach, right? Is to be
Mhm.
able to take that criticism and take people talking shit or whatever it is in any aspect of your life, and either letting it just tear you to the ground or letting it put a fire on your ass and get
Don't take
moving
it
and improve.
personal. Don't
Right.
take it
Yeah.
personal. The
Just like the
four,
podcast, man.
yeah, don't take it personal. And that's dude, that's one of the greatest things that I think when I'm getting into these little spats or these arguments or these disagreements or whatever, it's like even if they're trying to affect me negatively, they don't know me well enough to be able to do that anyhow.
Right.
Because like don't take it personal. It ain't about me. They're projecting, right? Even
Right.
if it's all about me and they're putting it on me, I can't take it that way because I still have to survive the situation.
Right.
So like it ain't about me. I just see a broken person that's hurt, that's expressing it. You know what? Let them.
Right.
I can take it. Whatever.
It's like, say whatever you want, man. It's
I
not going to
didn't used to
affect
be
me.
that way though, dude. I used to be like I couldn't take the constructive criticism because, dude, I wanted to be so perfect that anything that poked a hole in that armor, like if I knew that I did wrong, I fucking hated people telling me that I did something wrong that I also saw that I did wrong. I'm like,
Yep.
fuck you. I know,
Right.
I know. Leave me alone.
Don't
It's
remind me. I didn't. I'm embarrassed. I didn't want you to fucking see
the
that.
shame, the
Right.
shame. Oh, the
Right.
shame that I felt, right? And so like I think about that when I'm coaching kids now because I was that kid. I was that fucking crybaby. I was that kid that couldn't take it. So that's made me I think these kids got to be tough, right? But
Right.
I think I understand being the softy in that situation more how to build confidence now because that's really the game. You're trying to
Right.
build confidence.
Right.
And so like I was trying to do it by force, but you got to Jedi these motherfuckers, man. And
Right.
so like I've learned that a good coach understands his players as opposed to tries
Right.
to peg the players and put them where they are. He has to
Right.
understand the player.
And
So yeah.
right, the individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and that's like I said, that's one thing I love that my boy has been with the same coach that he's with for the last several years because he knows him, right? His coach knows him and knows his tendencies and the way he is receptive and the way that he's not receptive, and he's really good at that. So I love
That's
watching it.
good.
Yeah.
So you think he
But
makes your son better as a person?
mhm. Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think see that
he's definitely someone to look up to in that
that's
space.
that's important to me. Like whenever I'm evaluating my kids' coaches, is like, do I think that that's somebody that that is worthy of? Because I think it's a worth thing. I think people have to be worthy of that position. I
Right.
think some people take advantage of it, but I
Hmm.
think the people I analyze my kids' coaches because I've been a coach too, and I would hope that people would analyze me the same way, honestly.
Right.
And it's not judgment; it's like, are they in the best interest of my kid?
Right.
And so, like in those settings, you want your coach to have the best interest of all of the kids in mind, not his ego, and not trying to get a scholarship because everybody tell you don't get a scholarship today. Like,
Right.
you know, and so like how you respond to tough situations, that'll get you a scholarship better than how well you hit the ball. I promise you, because if you have that confidence knowing that you can deal with shit that comes at you, bro, you'll be able to hit that fucking ball
Right.
or throw the ball or whatever. Because a lot of the things that I've been trying to learn with trying to coach my kids is like how to instill confidence. That's taking
Hmm.
this season off. That's what I realized that I lacked in the most. So
Right.
that's
And
been the
it's
question.
right. And it's instilling confidence, but not stroking their ego, right? Because
Yeah.
kids I barely understand the difference. There's times where I'm like, shit, dude, I thought I was just being confident, and that was total ego right there. You think a kid's
Yeah.
gonna understand that shit?
But
No way.
sometimes that fucking ego will pull you across the line. It's not that it's not valuable because sometimes that might be the
Right.
kickstarter. The thing is to perform, you gotta believe it. Like you gotta
Right.
believe that you are like Mike Tyson talks about, like when he would fight, he believed he was unbeatable. Like he
Right.
genuinely believed that there was no fucking way in hell that that person across from him was going to beat him. There was no way. That was what was in his mind. I think
Right.
you have to believe that,
Oh, absolutely.
or else
But
you have fear.
at the same time, though, don't think that Mike Tyson wasn't scared, right? Because there's stories out there about, and he's talked about how he would get so nervous before he went out that he
Uh
would
huh.
throw up. He'd fucking
Dude,
puke, man.
I'm reading his book right now. I'm reading
Are
his
you?
book right now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So my we actually bought it for my wife's dad for Christmas. And on Christmas, I was over at his house, and when he opened it up, it was sitting there. So I just started reading it. So we went over
Nice.
there for Easter, and I was like, "Hey, have you finished that book yet?" He's like, "Oh, do you want to borrow it?" He still didn't answer my question, but I'm guessing no. He goes, "Oh, do you want to borrow it?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally." So I've been trying to read it, man. So like, I keep jumping around from books, but I have been reading. But
Good,
this is one
man.
of the books. This is one of the books that I'm enthralled. Like I'm just invested in. So
Right.
because
Right.
Mike Tyson is an interesting person because to, he is like to do the things that you have to be out of your fucking mind.
Right. He
But
was one
he
of the most
seems,
feared people ever to hit the ring, man.
but he seems so sane now. He seems so in tune with himself now. He seems so humbled by the experience that he had. And
Right.
so like that gives me hope that anybody can offer themselves that
Right.
with people like Mike Tyson in the world, man, because it's so cool to read these stories of these people that are fucking killers, that are
Right.
killers, but are trying to have the mind of a samurai and be well versed and to love art and to be in all of those things, man. It's super cool to see somebody like that as a polarizing figure to
Mhm.
show the real side of what all of those things were. It's really awesome.
Right.
So sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're good, bro. Love it, man.
I like Mike
I
Tyson,
didn't even
man.
know he had a book. What's it called?
Um, Undisputed Truth.
Okay.
If you give me
I,
just a second, I'll run in and go grab it. It takes 2 seconds. I'll be right back and go grab it just so you can see
yeah.
it. I'll be right back.
Yep. Yep. Nice. Okay. Yeah. How did I miss that? It's got his face plastered on it, man. I just picked up. Oh,
Yeah. Sorry, I
I
didn't hear
saw.
you. I was
No,
sitting there
you're fine.
thinking.
I started talking. It's like, how did I miss that? It's got his face plastered on it. I just picked up Relentless by Tim Grover and
Yeah.
started reading that yesterday. I'm kind of spot reading, kind of like you said, how you're just kind of sporadically reading. I'm trying something different because I tend to get almost bored of book, like an individual book. Like I'll get nuggets from them when I read them, and throughout the whole book, I'll get those nuggets. But I kind of get like to where I'm like, man, I'm just like it's almost the same thing or very similar things that they're saying. Like they say it in a different way, and there's a different thing that you can grab, a different piece of information you can understand. But it's like I was kind of getting bored, so I'm like, I'm gonna start like just picking up a book. Like got all these books. I got a bunch of books upstairs. I was
Do you?
using I was using these earlier to hold my phone up straight because it sits at an angle with the little
Yeah.
stand it's got, and um, like I'll just grab a book and open up a random page and start reading until I find something that I
Something that
really
touches
resonates.
you.
Right.
Yeah. Something that touches you.
Right.
So, do you by chance have ADHD?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've kind of been
I would say that I think maybe you should consider that in your approach and to maybe not beat yourself up so much on some of these things because um like I have to give myself time to let it resonate with me because I'll like
right.
replay the shit that I like as long as I keep it condensed. Like you said,
Right.
just And so like I take more from it that way, although it does take me longer to get through it. I don't know how to guide the focus so much, but now I'm learning that like you can learn how to do that. So,
Right.
but I'm not necessarily diagnosed, but I do have it. Like I know that I do.
Right.
So
I've
like
and I don't know if it's some I haven't looked into it a lot. I mean, in school I never had a problem, but I've noticed as I've gotten older, I don't know if you can get it when you're like an adult and not have it as a kid. Um, I've
I think it affects differently. It just maybe it shows up in people's lives whenever they've really lived through stress and things like that. I don't
maybe,
fucking
yeah. I
know.
mean, I've definitely had that thought and that conversation with people before. Like, I'm kind of wondering if but you know what, you can if you become disciplined and you have ADHD, things like that, like you can be really fucking powerful because
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
just means that I think it just means that your brain just functions a little bit different, right? It's not
right,
even a big deal. It just
right,
that I think so it gives me unique perspectives to things, right? I think that
right,
that's why I like have a unique perspective on things because like shit that I look at ain't the shit that other people look at,
right.
you
You
know?
you view it differently than most of the
Hmm.
population.
Yeah, and so like now that's not to like stroke my own ego or say that I know that I spend time thinking about these things, and I know that my brain, just in conversation, that my brain takes things in a little bit differently than how other people do. And so
Right,
in the conversation, that's how I get to understand things better, which is why I want to talk to people so bad. That's why
right,
I want to have the podcast to do all these things. It's not because I think that my perspective is valuable. It's because I like to gain more perspective and more information so that
right.
way I can consider those things going forward because like the better information you can consider, the easier shit is to deal with
Yeah. Oh, absolutely,
because
man.
then you can get to the real root of the problem. Like if you can consider this, that, and other, like then you can get to the actual root of the problem, solve that.
Right.
And that's what
Oh,
I'm interested in. Everything else is just extra shit. I'm interested in getting to the root and solving that. Because once you solve the root, everything else is just a process after.
right. Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, it's just like symptom tasting. Like if you do have ADHD and you try to get something to solve it, that's symptom tasting, right? It is you can learn to focus different ways and do all these things, but you have to know things about yourself and the experience that you're in is like you're spending a lot of time knowing yourself, and maybe these things were present before, but maybe you didn't know yourself so well, and now
Right.
you
And
see how things are actually affecting you.
right. And you can experiment with things. I mean, I know
Hmm.
people who have ADHD that Adderall just simply, or I think it's Adderall, right, is
Hmm.
ADHD medicine.
It's
It,
focus med. It's speed. That shit's straight
right,
speed.
right.
That's a
Agreed.
narcotic, bro.
Yeah, for sure. But there are people out there that they get shit done when they have Adderall that have
Yeah.
ADHD, and there's other people that have ADHD that just become addicted to it, right? And it's
I
just like
think it offers I think it offers like relief. I think it helps. I think it does help, but I think people become reliant upon those things.
right, especially if you've got that type of personality, right?
Hmm.
That addictive personality. So,
And what happens if you're not able to get those meds and things like that? What have you done when you did have your clarity to get better? So when
right,
you don't have it, like how do you manage? And that's been
right.
my interest in doing things because I had to
I
quit drinking.
right. Never a bad thing, man. I
Yeah.
definitely think so. Even if you do like use Adderall, things like that, I think you should phase it in and out, right? Like
Mhm. To know
I
what it's
don't know,
doing to you.
the timeline. I guess it depends on the person, stop. Take it if you want to try it and see if it helps you, but phase it in and out, not just a constant. I have to operate off this, right? Like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
take it for a week and then I'm going to stop for a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only person who can determine that time is you, though.
Yeah.
Whoever's in that situation is like, stop taking it and give yourself a break from it before you get to that dependency state, right?
Yeah. I
I
think that
mean,
that's
so that's
actually, I mean, considering that me having an addictive person, I just get addicted to shit, right?
right,
Just knowing that that happens. Like I have to do things like that. So if I'm taking a medicine to help me with something, I have to ask myself, do I need this? Do I need this? Right? And sometimes, yes, I do, but
right,
sometimes, no, I don't. But as
Right.
long as I'm asking myself that question and being honest with myself, I can be confident that I'm answering it in good faith. Because
For sure.
like used to, I wouldn't even think about it. I didn't wouldn't even want anybody to ask me if I thought about it. Like leave me the fuck alone and let me just deal with my shit.
Right.
I was such an addict about it though.
Right. I get that, bro.
Yeah. So what is it that you like to do in your you listen? What kind of music do you listen to? What kind of music you listen to?
I listen to a lot, man. Country. Listen to a lot of country. Lately, I have been on a big kick with have you ever listened to the band called The Score?
The Score. I don't think so. No.
They I don't even know, alternative punk rock type. I don't know. I guess
Score.
it's more of a modern, like I'd say maybe Blink 182 type music, but
Uh-huh.
they are um it's very motivated motivating music, right? Like entrepreneur,
Yeah.
like the space that I'm in, and I just fucking vibe with it, man. Like I'll just get
Yeah.
fired up and I'll listen to songs over and over and just get pumped as shit, man. It's fun.
Dude, I did a live stream the other day because on my way I was going to work and I was listening to one song over and over and over and over because it was just hitting me right. It was
Hmm.
all the thoughts that were coming off, everything was just like, oh, I was so confident that day too, dude. I had so much momentum that day. And
Right.
so like, and then I kept playing it and I was like, I'll listen to it until it loses its flavor. Right. And it just
Right.
kept going. And then I couldn't listen to the whole song because I'd get these thoughts, right? And so then I would be happy to listen to it again because I keep having these thoughts. So I'm cool to
Like
drift away
shit, I
from the song.
interrupted the song.
But and so I did a live stream about that, and it was I listened to a lot of rap. It was Yellow Wolf, dope, and
Okay.
it was dude, it was the whole premise of the song is like I had a bad mouth when I was a kid, but now that's how I make my money. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
so like th- I found the song. I remembered the song because I had actually did a reel because I'm about to start selling my soap, and I took a picture of my soap a while back, and I made this reel, and so I was looking for songs. Oh, anyways, I got a comment that says something. Yeah. So I was listening to songs, and then I came across this one, and it says went to, and talking about with my mouth full of soap after cussing. And I was like, oh, bud, that's my childhood.
Right.
And so like so much resonated with me with that song, all because I was trying to sell some damn soap. And so this song came up, and then the whole next day, it's like that's all I was listening to. I couldn't stop. I shared it with like six people. I'm like, you got to hear the song, and they're like, I don't listen to that shit. I'm like, but you got to listen to it
Right.
because it's
Just listen to the
moving me
damn
right
song.
now. This is moving me. You have to listen to it because it might fucking move you too. Might not.
Right.
Because a lot of people can't fuck with Yellow Wolf. I don't know. I love it. Fucking love this
Right.
shit. I love rap music, man.
I
I,
listen to a lot of older rap. I haven't, I mean, I don't know a lot of Yellow Wolf. I've heard a couple songs that were all right.
I don't like all of them, but I'm a
Yeah,
fan of him.
I can't stand most new rap. I kind of avoid it. Like
Yeah.
we're talking like Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, like I'll
I
jam
love
to
that
that
shit
shit.
too, man. I love that stuff. But dude, I listen to a lot of people that are like, I guess they would be called emotional rappers. They talk about like going through shit,
Me
right?
too. Yeah, like Atmosphere, Grieves, those guys are good.
There's a guy called NF. I don't know if you've heard of him,
Yeah.
but that's my
Yep.
dude.
He's
So
good too. Right. Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
listen to him. He's my one of my favorites. And then Hobson, he's
Yep.
another
Okay.
rapper. And another rapper that I like just because he's talented as hell is Token. He was a YouTube rapper. But dude, this
Okay.
guy's got bars for days. Like he's just so good at wordplay. He's so good. He's so good. He's playful. And it's like
Right.
it's so good, man. So like I really like the talent, like the skill of using words to paint a picture just like that. And the people that I listen to, that's what they do really well,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
look up The Score. You'll like them.
Yeah, I'll definitely because I listen to a lot of punk too, man. I got a freaking guitar sitting right here. One of the things that
I
I like to do
so
is yeah, go ahead.
when you texted me that you were playing the guitar while you waited for me, I was like, I wanted to bring it up because I'm trying to learn the guitar right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not good at all. Like
I'm
I can barely. I can barely hold like an E minor, an A minor, an E. Like it hurts. It hurts my hands. So
Yeah,
I'm at
look,
that stage right now, trying to learn.
so the one thing, so I've played guitar for a little while, off and on. I haven't stuck to it for any extended period of time other than when I was a teenager. This is probably the longest I've stuck to it since I was a teenager. But the thing that I've learned, because I used to not be able to use my pinky very much, but I've been intentionally trying to learn to use my pinky because it always hurt so bad to
Mm-hmm.
stretch out and stuff like that. And so I've gotten better at that, but now I've come across another challenge. I have difficulty holding all the strings down with one finger and then playing the rest of the chord like that. And I'm just like, so every time I don't even play songs, I just practice the skill of doing that because I
Right,
don't really care to learn songs anymore. I like making sounds with the guitar. And
right,
sometimes I like the sounds of songs, so I want to replicate those sounds. But usually I just know that I learn the chorus or the main chords and then that's it. And I do my own
right.
thing. So how long have you been trying to learn how to play?
So I got it for Christmas, not this last Christmas, but the year before. I played pretty thoroughly, pretty consistently for about a month or two, and then I don't know, just kind of forgot, I think.
Hour
And
a
then
day, bro. Give yourself, if you spend an intentional hour a day, you will 100% see improvement week after week after week. And
oh,
it's not even just, you got to force it though. Like if you really want to learn it, just like, oh, everybody leave me alone. I'm going to go do this for an hour. But I think that's with anything. That's how I
right.
got better at it. It's just, I made myself do it
So
because
so
I wanted to show people. That's the only reason. I wanted to show people that I could do it. So I
right,
practiced in private and then I would go play this thing and they're like, oh, it's fucking cool. But no, there's hours of work involved.
right. Well, that's just with anything, man. People
Hmm.
that are like successful with anything, people just from the cheap seats, they'll sit there and chirp and be like, "Oh, you got lucky, this, that, the other." They didn't watch the hours that you wanted to burn, or the hours and hours, thousands of hours that you wanted to burn everything to the ground because nothing was working for you. You were stressed out and you were depressed and the sleepless nights and all the hard shit. Nobody wants to acknowledge that you went through that. They just want to take the cop out way and say, "Oh, you were lucky." Like,
Because
no,
it
you could.
makes them look bad. It makes
Right,
them look bad that you decided you wanted something different.
right. So instead, you get lucky, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I do believe in luck because you have to show up to receive your luck, man. Look,
Right.
but if
Well,
you ain't showing up, you ain't going to receive,
it's the
like,
law of attraction, but that's
yeah.
not. I mean, it's
But luck
you
doesn't
have
only
luck,
come once, bro. It doesn't only come once. Luck comes all the time. It comes
right?
all the time. But you got to show up for it. You
Yeah,
got to
you
be
got to
doing
put
the
in the
work.
work,
Yeah,
right?
you got to, got to. Luck never
I mean,
comes the way you expect it
we
to
all
either.
get we all get lucky. You get a flat tire and you don't have to replace your tire because it's just a little hole. Things like that. Like luck will come
Yeah,
to everybody in
we
some sort of way.
we all get lucky. My wife decided to marry me, bro. Like I'm lucky
Yeah,
as
no
shit that
shit,
that
right?
happened,
Yeah. I
dude.
feel that.
My
I feel
wife
that.
makes me better just because she's around me.
Right.
Oh man. So
Women
like,
are
yeah,
good at doing that for sure.
I think the best thing though about trying to recognize some of those things is because I've been trying to be a better partner. To segue into that, I've been trying to be a better partner.
Right.
So I've been trying to learn to be uplifting as opposed to demanding. And I realize the difference in that is when I'm demanding, saying that you can do better, you should do better, that really breaks somebody down. I think sometimes you can use that, but I think I was using it too much. And so, like, I've been trying to build confidence. Like I said with the coach, I've been trying to learn to build confidence. Like
Right.
I'm learning these things because I've decided to take a step back.
Right.
And so, like, if I'm trying to build my partner up, which I should do as a husband, I got to
Right.
learn to instill confidence in places that in myself, so that way I can be an example, and so that she trusts me, so that she trusts that when I say these things too, that they're valuable to her as well. But if I'm not leading the example, I'm a hypocrite when I tell her. And
Right.
so I've learned to just keep my mouth shut on shit I ain't got lock on and let her figure her shit out, and I'm gonna figure my shit out. And I'm just gonna try my best to be an example. And so I've been trying to learn to be less demanding and more, yeah, just allowing that person to exist and me to help bring out their strength because I think
Right.
that's what we should do as partners who are amazing. amazing wife to put up with our shit.
Right. Well, like you said, people receive shit differently, right? Like for me to get really inspired, I need to get my ass chewed, right? Like I want to be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know exactly what you need to do and you're not fucking doing it. ABC, point blank. Like that's how my coach
See,
is, right? And
yeah.
it's what vibes with me, but not everybody, like that'll destroy some
Yeah,
people.
see, that breaks me down, bro. Even if I have difficulty taking it in. And I think it's probably
Right.
from childhood and shit like that. But I think that like it usually comes with extra sauce in their other life, right? It's like there's a
Right.
little bit more on there than what I deserved.
Right.
And so like I'm more a person that I respond better to the hand on the shoulder saying, "What's up, man?" Because like I'm a guy that's thinking about it. I don't need to be reminded, right? So if like you put your arm around me and you go, "Hey man, what's up?" I'll be like, I'll fucking flat out tell you. I'll tell you everything if that's the approach because you've just opened my door. You gave me
Right.
some sort of comfort, like not even like a codependency comfort, but just like a safe space to be me. You
Right.
asked me what's
Right.
going on. And so like so me looking at these kids and know that some of them respond to that, that's the approach that I try to take. But I've also had to learn to be the hard nosed person because I used to be a dick and I would
Right.
just be yelling like, "Do this, do that," and but I really wasn't giving instruction. I was just expecting them to figure it out because I yelled it at them.
Right. Right.
And I think I did that to my wife too. So like I don't respond well to that shit, but I do that to other people. And so
Right.
that's what I've had to curb back on. Is because it's
No.
disingenuous and it's not me. It's not really
Right.
me.
Right. Right. Yeah. No.
So
For me, it's like I want to be told like you're fucking if like for example, right? Like you're fat, you should probably stop eating the fucking Cheetos that are in the pantry. Throw them away and eat
and
some fucking
that's
spinach.
valid. It's fucking valid.
Right. And I receive, like I said, I receive things pretty well that way. That fires me up. That lights a fire under my ass. Sometimes I feel bad and I'm like, fuck, man, like you're not even talking to me. And like, I feel like you're talking to me. But,
That's when you need to look at yourself. Like that's the exact moment. And I've learned that now.
Mhm.
As a kid being coached by people and being around people, man, I don't think anybody had a thought as to what it may do to me either, right? I felt like I was around a bunch of irresponsible adults, but I think
Right.
we're all irresponsible at times, so there's no judgment there. Um, but yeah, so like let's say if somebody's put the Cheetos down, but they're trauma eating, right? And then now you've put them now in a mental state to where they double up on the Cheetos. Now they're getting spicy Cheetos too, right? That's also a potential when you have a hard approach. And that's the thing that worries me because I've been around so many damaged people that when you press a damaged person, right, that pushes them on the brink of maybe they recover, but like they're already broken. And so continuing to break somebody that's already broken, I think that's hard to recover from. And it
For
takes a
sure.
strong person, but maybe that's what makes them tough enough to be able to do it. I don't fucking know.
No, I think at the same time too, though, like us learning um to interact and build confidence in ways that are different than how we receive it. It's very similar to like speaking to your spouse in their love language, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's hard as shit for me to do the things that my wife feels loved by, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not the same way I receive love. So it's like I
Mm-hmm.
want to freaking shower her with compliments and cuddle and do the dirty and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
And she doesn't receive love the same way as me. It's just like
Yeah.
it's a challenge, but that's what helps us grow, right? As a spouse, as a husband, we
Yeah.
grow by learning how to encourage them the way that they'll receive it well, and same with our kids and same with anybody, right?
Yeah.
Anybody we're interacting with.
Yeah. I think I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point because like if you're not, if you're not speaking, this is anybody, wife, doesn't matter. If you're not speaking a language which they understand,
Mhm.
and who's it up to?
Right.
Is it up to the person giving the information or the person receiving the information? It's up to the person giving the information, in my opinion, to be able to articulate it in a language that the other person understands. Though the other
Yes,
person should try to comprehend and ask questions where they don't, but that usually doesn't happen.
right. I was gonna say I think it's both ways because I think you should grow as a listener and grow as a receiver or as a speaker, right? Like
I agree.
I should be working on getting my message out there effectively to the people I care about, right?
Mhm.
And at the same time, when somebody's giving me a message, I should try to receive it in the way, do my best, right? To receive it in the way that out of love, the way that they're trying to um the way that they're trying to send it to you, right? Because it just people are
Mhm.
different. It's wild. It's wild how different people can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so like I've been talking to my wife about like when we have our disputes, and I'm like, why are you
Hey,
taking what I'm saying so negatively? Like, how do I
can
say
you
it to you
or
in a
can you give
way
me
that,
just 1 sec? I gotta run
yes,
upstairs real quick. Give me
do what
one
you got
sec,
to do,
okay?
man. Do what you got to
I'll,
do. Do
yeah,
what
I'll
you
be
got to
back.
do. Yeah, you're good. So I could do the music. No, that's nonsense.
Good night, boys. Love you. Oh, had to say goodnight to the kiddos real quick. Go give them love. So
Oh yeah, dude. You look, that will always come a priority. That will always be a
absolutely.
priority. I will always allow for that to happen because, dude, that's one of the hardest parts about me doing my evening live streams that I do is I want to make sure that I'm not interfering with like my regular shit that I have to do, my priority. And so
Right.
I've made a decision in my life to be more focused and oriented on the family aspects of my life and have better relationships with the people. But that does come at a cost. It comes at a cost of my ability to pursue careers or things like
Right.
that. And so like I have to be creative with how I solve these things because I don't want to burden my family any more than I have by making the decisions that I. And
Right.
so like that's why I admire you and your efforts with like the anti-victim mentalities because the words at first, whenever I first heard it, I was like, man, those words, those are trigger words,
Piss a
right? And
lot of
so,
people off.
right.
That's
And
for
so, but
sure.
I realized that that's only a perception because of how people define things within themselves. And they think that they are the things that happen to them. And I'm here to tell you, you're fucking not the things that happen to you. You're not even
Right.
the things that you fucking do. That's just,
Right.
it's
Yeah,
piece of thing.
the shit you did yesterday, that's in the past, man. You can do
Hmm.
different today,
Yeah.
you know?
It's important, I think, for people to recognize that just because words upset you doesn't mean that they're wrong, you know?
Right.
And like it hurts to hear things you don't want to hear. Like it just does hurt because you don't want to hear it. If
Right.
you wanted to hear it, you would have been like, you probably could have figured it out yourself if you wanted to hear it.
Right. So one thing that's funny about the brand, right, and the name, and maybe my lack of doing it properly, the business name, is I think a lot of people read it like anti-victim dash mentality, right? And that's not how you read it. It's anti dash victim mentality, right? It's like I'm not like I've had people like, oh, you fucking hate victims and like people that are raped, you just think they're like that's not it at all, man. Like,
You know, and so
but
I think people think that you might be dismissing trauma, but that's not fucking at all it. Like that's I haven't got that vibe from you at all. Like,
right,
you know what I mean? But I think that that might be the issue that I had with the words when I first heard it. Not bad. I wasn't negative about it. I was like, ooh, that might be tough
but
for some folks, right? That
right, right,
um, but I realized it's just it's really the perception of the words and how people feel about that things, and you like that you might be dismissing trauma, but I don't think that that's what you're doing. You're telling people to like okay, you that is what's happened to you, but like, are you going to let that be what controls you? Are you going to let
absolutely,
that be who you are, or are you going to rise above it like a phoenix from the fucking ashes?
right. Fuck yeah, dude. Totally agreed, man. Like we've all been through shit, man. We've all
Mhm.
been a victim to somebody's actions before. Every
Oh
single
yeah,
person on this planet.
fuck yeah.
But man,
I've had
like
my identity stolen twice, and I don't know why the fuck anyone would want to steal this identity.
it's because of the dreads, bro.
Well, it was pre-dreads, but now that I've become on the public sphere, it hasn't happened anymore. Maybe because I was hiding, people thought I didn't exist. I don't know.
Right. No, I mean we've all been there, man. We've all
Hmm.
been wronged by people, but you got to let that shit go and move on with your life and use the hard times that you've dealt with to help people. That's what I'm
Don't
trying to
take it
do.
personal. Don't take
Right.
it personal. Those people are dealing with their own shit, the same as you, and they may have done a bad thing, and that's fine. But look, they're the ones that have to live with that, and
Right.
you have to live with the things that you do, right? And so,
Right.
how do you use the thing that made you a victim to motivate you? How do you use that to get
Right.
you out of where you were?
To
And I,
motivate you, to drive you, to inspire people, right?
mhm.
To help people overcome those things. That's what we're about. Like,
And I
let's
think,
overcome this shit,
yeah,
man. Like,
it's still like I want to help people overcome shit. Like that's my biggest goal in life. Because like I love overcoming. Like that's my favorite thing. Is I love being able to overcome something. I used to be scared of attempting. I love overcoming things. Like the pinky thing with the guitar and now the thing. So like
right.
with the chords and all that stuff, like I don't even know the names of most of the chords that I play. I have no
Right.
fucking clue. but
Nice.
but I do know some of them, right? And so I can read a little bit of music too. So like I can piece enough stuff together to get the information I need. And
Right.
that's how I problem solve. Right? I get little pieces of information here and there to get the information that I need for me to process. And I
Right.
think I take in different things than a lot of people. And it seems like you probably do too. You have a unique perspective with wanting to approach these things than what I guess mainstream would
Right.
would have to offer. So I don't know. I think it's super inspiring, man. That's why I like keeping you around.
No, dude, I love it,
And I,
man. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate to learn new things and try to help people and just grow and
mhm.
become better, be a better dad, be a better husband, be a better me for fucking me. Not enough people try to be better for them, right? Like, not
You are
enough.
the most important person in your fucking life
Yep.
because if you don't exist, neither do the things in your life,
Right.
right? You've got to take care of the thing
You've
that is
got to
making all of
fill,
these.
you got to fill your cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. That's what I was looking for. I struggled a little bit there. Can't pour from an empty cup. You got to put your fucking oxygen mask on before you help everybody else on the plane. You got to eat before everybody else so you can hunt and feed everybody else, right? If
Yeah,
you're
in
not
some
there,
in some in some instances, yeah, but you do. The point is, you do have to make yourself a priority,
mhm,
but also you have to decide when you can do without so that others can have because you've
of
prepared
course.
to go with less, right? And so, like the king mindset of overconsumption, right? Of getting all of these things so that you can share. I think the
Well,
problem is
well,
people
there's
forget to share.
greed, right? There's greed, and then
Yeah,
there's just putting yourself first, man, because
yeah.
you've got to be your most important person because like I said, one thing that I heard that inspired me and really resonated with me was you cannot love somebody else more than you love yourself.
And not in the
So
ego way. Not in the ego way.
right, right. But you've got to the more that you love yourself, the more love you can give to everybody around you.
Yeah.
Right.
That
And right, like you said, not ego. We're talking like this is humble. Like you've got to
real.
really love yourself and care about yourself and want the best for yourself and want to improve yourself. And the more you do those things for you, the better you show up for the people you love. It's just that simple, man. Like a
Yeah.
miserable think about it from this perspective, the dad that hates his fucking job, that goes and grinds and then comes home and fucking drinks like a shitload. I know this. I wasn't that, but I grew
I
up with
was.
that. You know, um, hate what they're doing, so they use alcohol as an outlet to release the pain
I
and
hated
the
my life, dude. I hated my life. So I used the alcohol to give me something to enjoy.
right. And how were you as a father then?
Not present at fucking all.
Right.
Dude, because I didn't want to be around my kids super drunk, so I would just fucking like go outside and be by myself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, not
Yep. Yep.
present, dude. I at least
Nope.
was cognizant of the fact that my children may be suffering, so I tried to ease that, but I selfishly wanted to continue drinking because that was my solace. That was where
Right.
I found
That
peace,
was your
but it wasn't
crutch,
peace.
man. You
Uh
used
huh.
it as a crutch,
Uh huh. And I
like a
feel
junkie,
weak.
man.
I feel weak when I have thoughts because I'm sober. I don't drink at all. Right.
Good
January
for you,
4th,
bro.
2018. Right. January 4th,
Right.
2018 is when I quit drinking. Right. And so
Good for you.
now, like when I have bad days or something like that, I'll have a thought like, what would it be like to get, I don't even remember what it's like to be drunk. I have no fucking memory of what it feels like. And so
Right.
I get curious sometimes, but then I remember how my relationships were. And I don't ever want to go back to that. And
Right.
so that is my motivator. Like, I don't even really have the thirst for it. I just get curious. And I have a bad day. And when I have a bad day and I think about it, it's like, yeah, no, 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 no. Let's just get a fucking mineral water because that's what I end up doing. I'll go get a Topo Chico or something, and I'll
Right.
drink that. That's my suds. That's all I need, bro.
I
Makes me
love
good.
I love the self-awareness too, man. It's like we all have those thoughts, but it's like you have that thought and then, a few seconds later you're like, "Wait a minute. I've been
hmm
down this road before. I'm not going to fucking do it again."
But it was important. Something was finally important enough for me to consider. But
Right.
before that, I didn't value the things that I feel like I should have valued. And
Hmm.
so, like, that served me better then in my mind because I felt like that allowed me to still go to work because I could still go to work and do all of the things at work that I needed to do and be really a high performer at work, excel, do a really good job. But then when I get home, trash, complete trash husband, complete trash father. I didn't upkeep the house as I should. I didn't do the things that I'm supposed to do. I just
Right.
fucking did. And
Right.
like who the fuck would want to be married to that? I understand
Right.
why my ex-wife fucking wanted to Tweedledee, but there's a lot of things that play back and forth. But I have to own where I was.
Right.
And so I never want to go
Love
back
it.
because like that monster lives in me. That's a real thing that I have to deal with and contend with daily. I've
Right.
still fucked up people that have resentment in those situations. And I have no problem with them having resentment. Fucking have it. You get it
Right.
out of your system however you need to. Blame me if you got to. I can deal with it because I know the wrong that I've done. And I'm
Right.
okay with it. It's it's not your judgment that I'm worried about. It's the judgment that I don't know. It's the judgment
Right.
of maybe if there's a God or whatever. It's the
Right.
judgment that I don't know that
And it's the judgment of you, man. It's like you know
Mhm,
what you're doing now. You know who you are, right? And
exactly.
it's irrelevant what anybody else thinks. And they have the right to think however they want to think. And you fucked up in some ways, and they feel that way because of actions you've taken in the past, but it has nothing to do with you anymore because that's not who you are anymore. And if they choose to not see you for who you are anymore, it is what it is. You just got to keep rolling and moving
But
forward,
but
right?
people still want to blame though, right? And so
Hmm.
that's an issue that I run across with people that I try to help is they want to blame.
Hmm.
And so like blame does not offer peace. I'm sorry.
No,
I will take that to the grave. Blame
got to own
does
up,
not offer peace. So if you're looking to blame something, you're not trying to accept responsibility for your part. It
right?
doesn't matter
You'll
what the other people did. You did what you did.
right.
You did what
You'll
you did.
you're gonna really struggle being happy if like I think we touched this a little bit like a while back or on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Like I blame my ex for everything. And
Yeah.
there was a certain point where I just said, I'm not gonna fucking do this anymore. And it wasn't for her, it wasn't for him, it was for me because I was sick of being angry. I was sick of
Yeah.
being pissed and having resentment. Like I wanted to be happy,
Me
dude.
too, bro.
I was like, I want to be happy. I can't do this anymore. So I did a lot of hard shit that kicked my ego right in the balls, and it ended up much better, and it got the result I wanted. And
Yeah.
I'm still rewriting stories every day in my life and other things that challenge me and hardships in my life that I haven't overcame yet, and there will never be a time where I throw my hands up and I'm like, I've overcame it all. There's
Nah,
nothing left to worry about, because as long as we continue to grow and get to that deeper level, that next level, there's levels to the game, right? You're always gonna find there's always gonna be something else, and that's a good thing. You can look at it as a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, in the world of growth, a challenge if you're not challenging yourself, and you don't have challenges in front of you, what are you doing? You're not.
yeah, you're not pushing your boundary on what you think. Like you're not seeing where the end is, right?
Right,
And you're not seeing how to get beyond that. And I think that
right.
that's limiting. So I'm going to get a little bit spiritual on you, not religious, but spiritual. It just this is a thought that I've had, and I'm just going to share it with you, and I want to see what you think.
Okay.
So you know how like a life sentence in prison is you to serve until your death
Okay.
of the prison sentence. So what if what if this time on earth is a life sentence? We're here to serve a life. Okay. So my thought on this is like, how are you choosing to serve your life sentence? Are you allowing it to control you, or are you being present for it and having intentionally, right? And so like Nelson Mandela comes to mind with these things, with him having to be in prison because of his stuff, and then when he came out, he ended up becoming a president of South Africa. And so being able to, and then you hear the stories about the people that have been in the concentration camps, the Jewish concentration camps, and stuff like that during the Holocaust, and how some of them were able to stay mentally sane, and the mental toughness and the ability to get through those things. I don't even remember where I was going with it, but it sent me off on this whole thought.
Right.
Oh yeah, I remember it. So the thought was that how if this is, let's say hypothetically, this is a life sentence. We're here to learn something. We're here to pay a pittance or whatever, right? How do you receive this punishment if this is a punishment? Because religion, like the Bible, it tells you that there's a heaven and all that stuff, then that would say that this physical life is somewhat of a punishment. So
Right.
how do you transcend this life, right? And I think that how you live this life determines how you go beyond this life. I think it's very important to think about
So,
those things.
so I don't know if this is the answer to your question, but Ed Milet, years ago, I listened to a podcast. This was years ago, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head since. Um, he talks about, like, he lives his life as if, like, when he passes and he goes to heaven, that he will meet the person that he was capable of becoming. And he doesn't, like, when he meets that person, he does not want that person to be a complete stranger. He wants that person to be just like him, right?
Mm.
He wants to meet his identical twin mentally. And I can't seem to get that out of my head, because it's like, if we just strive for that. Now, like I said, I don't know if that's answering your question really,
No,
but
no, I wanted to know your thoughts, but that's valuable. So
live your life as if the person you were capable of becoming, you will meet when you die, and try to do your damnedest to become that person, right? That you meet
mhm.
that person when you knock on heaven's gates, or whatever you believe in, right? And that person's like, hey man, I've been watching you're me, bro, like
Uh-huh.
you're just like me.
Yeah. So there's this guy that I talked to. His name is Neil. We have a phone call every couple weeks, and it's so full of like information. It's just so like we can only have it every couple weeks because it's just so much information is given in the conversation, right? Because it's
Right.
like we're thinking and talking about these things. So he presented me with this idea that maybe he heard. I don't know where the credit comes from him, but that maybe we chose our path before we came down here and took this physical body. And all of the things that we experience are things that we set up to remind ourselves or to teach ourselves to become what maybe what you say, that person that you meet, that the true version of yourself that you are to become. Right.
Right.
That so I think about that, like the things that I encounter, I'm like, yes, this is supposed to be here. Right. I'm supposed to be dealing with it. Right. This is for me to deal with. This is here in front
Right.
of me for me to deal with. And so today, uh, this leads me on to today. I was thinking about the approach that I had to everything was like, I get to do this instead of I have to do this. right? Just taking the approach of like, I'm blessed to be able to face these stupid struggles that I face, right? These are my
Right.
struggles to have, and I'm blessed to have them because I could not be breathing. I could not have any of this. And I'm blessed to be able to have another breath to get better at the things that I want to get better at, and be better for the people that I want to be better for, mostly me, but also my kids and my wife, because I think if I'm better, they're better,
Right.
um, just by proximity.
Right. For sure. No, I love that you said that you get to do it and you don't have to, because um I had a conversation a couple weeks ago that was the exact same conversation. It's life is all about perspective, right? And you can look at your life like, oh, I have to go do this. I need to go do that. It's like, no, I'm blessed. I get to go do these things. I get to do
Yeah.
these things. And it was the same exact like that. That made me smile on the inside big time when you just brought that up, because
Well,
I had that conversation.
that was the thought in my mind all day. So I took my younger three kids to the park after I dropped my daughter off at school because she had a play rehearsal. And so we stopped at the park. I got the videos and stuff like that. They're throwing rocks in the creek and shit like that. And so like we had a blast, man. So like I'm like I get to give my kids an experience out here. So let's give them an experience. Let's go explore. Let's do some things
Right.
instead of me just like, oh, you guys go play, because like I chose to be there. I get to be there. And so like I might as well fucking be there. And
Right.
then that goes on to the rest of the things in my day. And I was really just happy to have the opportunity to have the struggles that I have, honestly. I
Mhm.
was because look, I would rather have my problems than yours. Let's be real honest. I know my problems.
Right.
If I took your problems on, it'd be a whole new plate of shit that I don't know how to deal with. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm
Mhm.
happy to have my problems, but I'm
Right.
happy to let you have yours also. You know what I mean? And so like
Right.
that's been such a relief for me today. I had such a good day today, and then I was able to communicate something with my wife that I haven't been able to when these things show up. I was separate from it. I was able to say, "This is what's going on," instead of "You're doing this." It was, "This is the situation that's here. This is how
Right.
are we going to deal with it? Like, what's the move? Catch your breath, do the thing that you got to do." You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I'm gonna try to incorporate that into my daily shit, man, because it felt so relieving today to I bet some days I'm not going to be able to, but
No, I struggle with it big time, dude. I find myself fucking chasing the shiny thing all the time. That's another reason why I think I might have ADD, ADHD, is like, I'm over here, then I'm over there, then I'm over here. I'm all over the fucking place.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh, I have to do that. I have to go do that. Oh shit, I forgot about that. I need to go do that. It's like, no, I get to do this shit, man. Stop with the I have, I need, I have to, I need to. Stop. Just fucking
yeah,
sit and be present for a minute and breathe. And I've been incorporating a new type of meditation. I don't know if you meditate or not.
yeah,
um
I do.
so I've been om meditating, and then after, so I've been om meditating for quite a while now, but I added a breathing exercise afterwards.
Hmm.
It's about a 10 minute, it's a Wim Hof exercise. And it's it's when it's taking my meditation to another level, adding that breathing exercise in after the meditation. Been pretty nuts. But the sense of calmness has been insane.
Well,
Love it. It's been great.
the
So
the way that I meditate is I started using this app. It was a guided meditation. It was UCLA Mindful,
okay.
and so I would go through their guided meditations, and then I started to understand what they were doing in the meditation. So now I try to take myself on my own meditation. But really, the different things that I try to do is number one, I do a practice where I try to take as long a breath as possible. I want my in breaths and my out breaths to equal and for them to be as long as possible because I didn't know that you could control your breathing in such a way to where, like, I think about snipers and breathing like the
Mhm.
slow breath, like being able to, and also being able to breathe without any sudden movements and shit like that. Like, there's so many benefits to being able to
Right.
do that for the physical
Being able
thing.
to
But
slow your heart rate down and things like that
and
just by
so
breathing
so
instantly,
that's
right?
one of the things that I try to do while I'm meditating is I'll just to breathe, I'll count seconds up, seconds down. And
Right.
then what I typically try to do though is I try to Just focus on my breathing and then feel my body where it's at, how it is. And then I try to make my body feel like it kind of conforms into wherever I try to become whatever I'm sitting on. I try to become that with that. So I mentally just make my body with every out breath feel like I'm becoming more one with that. And so like I can start trying to kind of feeling where the chair meets the concrete if I'm sitting outside. And then I start trying to think my way into nothing. That's my
See,
goal is to think my way into nothing.
that's fascinating because I would almost say that the my goal when I meditate is probably the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to feel like I'm floating in air, right?
Yeah.
Versus you're attempting to like become one with where you're at. I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to rise above where I'm at and
Yeah. I'm trying to
levitate,
ground
so to
myself.
speak. Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Levitate, so to
ground.
speak.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I,
So
I
like,
wonder why. I've never really thought about that, but that's what's intrigued me, right? Like,
yeah.
is
Well, I
like,
had this one really profound experience, man. Like super, super profound experience. And like it was so unexpected that I still haven't been able to let it go, no matter how many times I've told the story. And so I was going through this UCLA mindful app and I was listening to one of the meditations and I was doing it all in. But dude, this was the first time I'd gotten to black. Nothing. There was there was nothing there. This is the first time ever that I've had this experience. And then all of a sudden there was a chime. It goes, "Beep." And then I felt glass crack in my lens, like whatever the fuck, glass cracked and shattered and then fell out, and it was black again. But it was,
right.
but I could feel a movement like this constant.
Hmm.
But it was so, and I got nauseous. I was like, I'm getting chills talking about it, dude. But
Hmm.
anyway, so it was such a profound experience that I was like, holy shit. Like that was I didn't transcend anything, but I had an experience. I had an experience that taught me that like I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing because I felt like felt in tune. Like if that makes
Right.
fucking sense, I felt
Dude,
like
I get it. Trying to explain the experiences with meditation to people who haven't ever experienced it, it's difficult because it's like I swear, like, I mean, I don't even know, man. Like, because I've had a couple experiences where it's like I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine about this actually earlier this evening, and it's almost like you're high, but
yeah,
you're mentally sober, right?
yeah,
Like you're completely aware, and your decision making is clearer than you would be even when you're just day to day not high, not intoxicated, right? You're extremely clear and sharp,
hmm
but you're high at the same time. I guess, and that's probably a bad analogy to it, but it's
well,
like
I think I can add to that a little bit that may give it a little bit more depth. And so like,
energy. It's
yeah,
energy flow. You've just feel like an abundance of energy within you,
you
I
don't
guess.
feel weighted down anymore, right?
Right.
You don't feel like things are pulling you down. You feel
Hmm.
free of those bounding things.
Right.
And I think, and so like my goal of trying to get to nothing, again, my goal is to get to nothing, is to free myself of all the weight. That's my goal. And so you
Right.
trying to rise above, I think is the same thing. You trying to free yourself of all of the weight. And visually, that's how you see yourself freeing yourself from the weight. And I
Right.
think that that might be part of the meditation practice is to internally how you view yourself. But I do look into other meditation tactics because I want to learn more because I think I do yoga. I do yoga almost every morning, right? And to me, that is somewhat of meditation because when I'm in those positions, like they're not easy. They fucking hurt and they're hard. It's,
Right.
and it's like, but you got to accept it because it's making you better. Because
Hmm.
every time that I do it, I can feel myself doing it a little bit better. Like I don't fall over as much, or like I can, I don't get a blood rush to my head anymore. Like when I'm doing the downward dog or whatever. Like I'm doing some of the techniques and it's helping me and it's helping my overall blood flow in my entire body. So like
Right.
I think that the practices of these things, that the spiritual shit, I think that it actually helps you get in tune with things separate from this physical world that we have to endure.
Hmm.
Because dude, it's hard. This fucking world is hard to maneuver. There's so many
Right.
snakes out there. There's so many people trying to get the best of you,
Hmm.
you know? But then you got to come from a place of kindness. Like, come on, man. If you're having to come from a place of kindness, you got all these snakes out there. That means you got to start petting motherfucking snakes, and that ain't cool sometimes.
Right. Dude, we could totally go down a never-ending rabbit hole with this
We should definitely
conversation.
do this again and get in on that rabbit hole. I know we're getting a little bit long here,
Right.
so I'm probably going to start wrapping this up because dude, it's way past. It's 11 o'clock here right now. It's way
Yeah,
past my bedtime.
it's way past mine too, man. It's only
Yeah,
10
so
here, so I'm an old man.
yeah, dude, I usually go to bed by like 9 o'clock. I'm in bed by 9:30. I'm up by 4:30. So like, I try to make the most of my day, and that means getting
How,
good rest.
I struggle getting up early. How do you do it? Do you have any techniques?
I'll send you a video link of information to consider. There's this neuroscientist, and so I guarantee you, there's a lot of habits that you have that are probably contributing to poor sleep. But the best thing that I can say do is to have a consistent go to bed time and a consistent wake up time and stick to it, and have
Okay.
something to keep yourself to stick to it. Don't
Right.
overexhaust yourself. Give yourself adequate rest. But I'll
Because for
send you that video link.
yeah,
I sent it to my wife and I made my 13-year-old son watch it too because the way he talks about these things, and I don't remember, I would plug his name in the video here, but I don't remember it. But he's a neuroscientist and he's talking about like the things that happen in the brain when you do certain things that contribute to poor sleep. And so,
I'm listening. Go ahead.
oh, that was it. That was the video. The video just basically represented that.
The book's not down here. It might be at Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've got one of his books.
What's the book called?
Um, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Interesting.
And
That might be the
it's
same guy.
neuroscience shit. It's energy and all the cool shit, man. Like,
Yeah. Well, dude, I'd like to have you on somewhat regularly if you'd be willing to do it, because I know you said that it was a cool experience for you, but I'm always looking for people to talk to do live streams with to discuss things. And anytime you want to hop on and have a live stream, dude, reach out. Be more than
yeah,
happy to
this is,
host it.
you know what? This has been enjoyable for me. And you know what? Like, when we did the podcast, I was shitting my pants, scared, right? Like, I was
Hmm.
nervous as hell, but I was like, I've got to do it because I'm scared to do it, right? And
Yeah.
it helps me grow. That's why I do it's doing hard shit. It's just what
Yeah.
pretty much what we've been the root of all we've been talking about tonight, right? Like this for
Yeah.
me, doing this live stream, feel like it went better than the podcast did, but for me on my end at least, right? And I feel better about the outcome from my side. And I mean it's live and it was just
Yeah.
yeah, it just flowed,
So
man. It was
just
good.
so you know, this is streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So
Right. No, I knew it was streaming, so
but it's on all
that's
three
what
of
we
those
do.
platforms. But what I do want to say is that after the recording that you and I did, I felt a little shame in myself and how I conducted myself and how it had turned out, because I have a high standard for myself, but I realized I was trying to have a high standard for the things previously done. And I realized I have to relearn my footing with some of these things. And I've really started to find myself in doing some of these live streams and things like that. And
Right.
I'm hoping that I can offer my help to you, because I know you're trying to grow your things too. And I want to keep talking to you and interacting with you along the way too, because, uh, you know, the more we talk about these things, the likely it is that somebody hears it. And the whole idea is to get the message out there so people can hear what the fuck it is that we're saying, because we think these things are valuable,
Right.
you know? And so the more we talk about it, the more people are likely to hear it. So anytime you want to get on here and talk about some shit, you got some stuff bothering you, you ran across some things you want to get on, do a live stream, do shoot me a text.
Yeah,
I'd
dude.
love to hop on, and I'm extending this out to several people too, because I'd love to do live streams like this every fucking night, you know,
Right.
because I care that much about having these conversations that that's work to me, but it's my life work, you
Right.
know.
This is, dude, I fucking get that. I feel that big time. Same with me, these types of conversations, they burn inside of me.
We
So,
touched on a lot of important shit, man. We touched on relationships. We touched on youth sports, being a father. We talked about coaching. We talked about how we receive things. Dude, we covered so much ground here. And the only
right.
thing that's going to happen from here is to get more in depth with some of those things, because as you grow, as I grow, as they grow, a man never
Right.
steps in the same river twice, because he has changed and so is the river.
Right. Yep.
So every
Oh,
time we come
absolutely,
on,
man. You
yeah,
know, that's we're as long as we're sharing us and our experiences and our thoughts, we're gonna continue to grow. So we're gonna continue to have new things to share and different perspectives, and it's a
and,
beautiful thing, you know.
and that is hashtag be driftwood. That's what it's all about right there.
And
So, anyways,
hashtag anti-victim
yeah, plug your
mentality.
shit, man. Plug your stuff. Where can they find your apparel? Where can they find your apparel at?
www.antivictimmentality.com. And I've also got a Facebook and an Instagram page, Anti-Victim Mentality. Pretty easy. Right here. Anti-Victim Mentality, wherever the hell, right there.
Yeah,
So,
that's a sick
yeah,
ass
it's
design too, by the way, man. That's sick. I like
thanks,
that.
bro. Yeah, I've got a couple more coming soon. I'm really excited. Trying to get not just in the like the anti-victim mentality, like where that's it. Like I've got a shirt that's coming out that says "Stay Blessed" with my logo, and then a push your limits. Like I want to get in that space of like driving people, you know, almost
Yeah,
like you know Nike's slogan. And we'll cut this off in a sec because I need to go to, but like Nike's slogan, "Just do it."
yeah.
Right? Like I want to
That's
like
powerful, man. That's powerful. Just fucking do it, man.
right, push your limits. Like,
Yeah,
but I've got a shirt coming out. I trying to get in that space of just like firing people up. Like, my
yeah.
intent isn't to cause a bunch of fucking drama with the fucking right wings and the left wings. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what's happened right now. And they can take it however they want, but it's just a matter of living your life and not being a fucking not staying in that space of being a victim. You know?
Well, I believe in you and what you're doing, man. So I'm gonna
Thanks,
support
brother.
you however I best can because like if you're doing good, I'm doing good, right? You know.
Right. Oh,
So
I
like
love it, man. You're
I'm
awesome.
gonna so I love you much, brother. Thanks for coming on. And like I said, anytime, anytime at all. I'd love to
Yeah,
have more
bro.
of these conversations. So take care. And guys, this is Mason with Anti-Victim Mentality, antivictimmentality.com. You can find him on Facebook. And don't forget, if you're following me on Facebook, you can send me stars to help me get better equipment. I have a goal of 5,000 stars. It doesn't really mean anything, but I intend to get to 5,000 stars just to prove that I'm serious. Still going to do it, but it doesn't change anything. So I love you guys. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Mason, thanks for hopping on, man.
Yeah, see you, Daniel. Have a good one, brother.